Welcome to Inside the Studio with Greg Wurth. And in this episode, I want to talk about a special pair of small speakers that I came across within the last few months that has completely blown me away. It's called the iLoud Micro Monitor by IK Multimedia. So let me tell you a little bit about them. Basically, they're very, very small speakers. As you can see in the photos, not much bigger than a laptop. They're very light. You can, get a little carrying bag and travel with them. At first glance, you don't really expect much. They look like maybe a pair of just normal computer speakers or whatever. But I had been hearing some buzz about these. And so I figured, I got to check them out. I got to see what it's all about. They're really impressive. If you look at the frequency response chart, it's extremely flat. It's pretty amazing. And for being such a small speaker, they extend way below 100 hertz, which is really impressive. I heard some reviews and some people saying stuff. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Let me hear them. Okay. So, upon pulling them out of the box, the first thing I just, an engineer looks at the connections. How's this going to hook up? Whatever, that's an intuitive thing. So I flip it around. As you see, it's like I look at the connections. There's an 1/8 inch stereo input for like an iPod, laptop, whatever, RCA phono input. And then also there's a button that says Bluetooth. And that's the way at which these connect. For the most part, you're expecting maybe TRS 1/4 inch or XLR, but the speaker's so small that kind of jack wouldn't fit. The other thing, that's on the back, there's a volume knob that has a center detent. There's a little EQ switch knob here, control. You can tell it if it's going to be on a desk or if it's mounted, stuff like that. And those settings depend on just where you put the speaker. And you can also mount them on a tripod mic stand, which is really cool. Personally, for me, I have them set up at my desk where I do a lot of these videos and just testing of plugins and just doing a lot of various types of work. That's when I first tested these. And what I found was that this frequency response chart is very accurate. At low volumes, of course, you're able to kind of take the room out of the equation, and just the sound was so huge. That was my first impression. I was in the middle of mixing a record. I was in the process of getting notes back from the client. So instead of having to go run to the studio all the time, I was able to actually do it here. I tend to mix pretty low volumes anyways, which is, what you really should do to protect your ears first and foremost. But these to me, they have this 3-dimensional character to them. I would just look straight up, even though they were mounted on the desk lower, and you see how they're kind of pointed up. And I'm tall, I'm 6'5", so these are definitely not positioned in the most perfect listening position, but I have them propped up with the kickstand here where they're facing up, and I just look straight ahead and listen. And just, to me, the music sounded like it was right in front of my face. I didn't hear the speakers. I just heard the music, and I was really impressed. Of course, once you start raising the level and you want to crank it to kind of, like a level that would please a client or whatever, you start getting resonances from the desk. You hear the room, things like that. But to me, these are amazing for low level situations, super accurate. They're small. Personally, the way that I use them is I'm using the RCA phono inputs because my benchmark DAC 1 has phono outputs, so it connects perfectly. But I have gone ahead and tried the 1/8 inch input. I hooked that up. Also the Bluetooth, hooked it up to my laptop, tested it that way, it's actually a really cool way, because if I want to monitor a mix or a master from my DAC 1 on these RCA, and then I want to dither down, like a 44.1 16-bit or an MP3, just whatever it is, I can then stream it from iTunes or whatever through Bluetooth just to hear it in that way and just kind of hear what it sounds like when it's being converted through all that. And it sounded amazing. I was really, really impressed. Definitely suggest these. At first I was kind of like, what am I going to care about these speakers? But I haven't been excited about speakers in a long, long time. And I'm pretty picky about what I like. I think any situation, mix, mastering, you're a pro, you're a beginner, these are ideal for your arsenal. They're small enough. If you already have a bunch of other speakers, you can throw these up and just have a nice reference. They sound fantastic. So definitely recommend these. Like I said, the one issue that comes up is that once you start cranking it up past comfortable mix volumes, then you get issues with your room and resonances. And the room that I have them in right now is not super ideal. So you hear the the desk shakes, and it's just not the most ideal mixing environment if you're going to go past a certain volume. But I will say there's an amazing piece of software called SonarWorks that I've been trying out for a while. And this solves the problem of having the room as part of the equation. And so I'll do another video separate talking about that. So thanks so much for watching Inside the Studio with Greg Wurth. Hope to see you guys at my upcoming workshops. If you want to check out InsideTheStudio.com, you can find out more information about that. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I'll check you guys out next time.